This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 787. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm your host for this show, as well as the head coach for Job Search CoachingHQ.com and NoBSCoachingAdvice.com. And welcome. You know, this is a show that deals with follow-ups, following up after your interview, how to follow up, when to follow up. I'm sure you'll find it helpful. I hope you give it 5 stars on iTunes and Stitcher. I'll read your message on the air. I hope it helps other people find the show. I know with iTunes it helps other people find the show. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, listen to the end of the show. There's information about how to connect with me. And with that, let's get going. And the subject of this one is when to follow up, how to follow up. Now, there's a pretty common school of thought that is correct about sending a thank you note immediately after the interview. But to me, the follow-up really starts at the end of your interview, when they're about to wrap it up and they're trying to say, any final questions? Or you know the interview is ending. And one of your questions needs to be, when do you expect to finish this round of interviews? Now, there can always be a delay, but you're getting a sense of their timeline. Well, you're the first person we're meeting with, and we don't have anyone else scheduled. I understand, but when do you think you might be following up in this round? Or they might say, we have 3 or 4 more people scheduled. We should be done by end of next week. Terrific. Do you mind if I check back with you after that? No problem at all. Great. So after the interview, you send a thank you note, thanking them for making the time. Don't just send it to one person for a group. Send it to each individual person who you met with. Tailor it slightly differently for each person. Email it. Don't US mail it. Don't go to your car, write it out, and deliver it to the desk. It's cheesy. So my suggestion is get a card from everyone that you meet with as you're finishing up. If they don't have a card, call reception, call the main number, indicate that you want to get an email address for someone that you interviewed with. I'm sure you'll be able to get it. If not, you can get it from LinkedIn. You can do a Google search. Not a big whoop. You send a thank you note to each. And then once the date approaches, if you haven't heard anything, I know the convention is you stay in touch by sending an article. I don't like that idea because I've heard from too many managers who told me, what are they sending me this about? I don't get this. And it becomes a turnoff to them. And that's obviously not what you want to do. You get to the point where you're expecting to hear. If you're working through a recruiter, contact the recruiter. If you're working directly with the firm, contact the firm. If the recruiter isn't getting back to you, maybe that's a signal that the firm wasn't interested or that he or she doesn't know. Give it a day, contact the firm directly. When all is said and done, the message that you might leave is, hi, when we met, you mentioned you'd be done with your round of interviewing around now. Hadn't heard anything. Have things been delayed at all? Have things been delayed at all is really where you should end it. So wait for them to call back. If they don't, take it as the signal of rejection. Because if they were interested, they'd be trying to keep you warm while their process extended itself. So again, from a process perspective, you find out a timeline at the interview. You send a thank you note to each person you met with afterwards, a quick note. I have examples of that in other videos, so look for those videos for thank you notes. Then from there, follow up, not on the day, but the day after. They told you that their interview cycle would be done, just to check it. Hi, I just wanted to see where you stood on the interview. Has there been a delay? And then wait for them to call or not. All the while, you continue to interview so that you're not depending on this one firm for whether or not you're going to be landing a job. So that's today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, here are a few other ways that we can connect with one another. The first one is if you're an executive and interested in one-on-one coaching, email me at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. In the subject line, put the word coaching, so this way I know what it's about. Next, if you're not an executive, the best way to reach out to me is through jobsearchcoachinghq.com. There I have curated information from around the web that you can watch, listen to, read, primarily my own information, but again, there's some stuff from other people that's there with their permission. Also, if we are not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen to the show because I love to hear from people who listen to the show. It just puts a big smile on my face, which reminds me, Facebook. Connect with me on Facebook. Look for Jeff Altman, The Big Game Hunter, and give me 5 stars. Subscribe to the page. You'll get lots of information sent to you daily with different pieces of advice for you. And lastly, because I don't really mention this on the show all that much, in addition to job search coaching, I do executive and what I call business life coaching. Business life coaching, where I work with self-employed people who have a lunatic for a boss. People like your wife, husband, partner, friends of yours who may be either wrestling with something in their business and need an advisor to work with, or people who are doing extremely well and they need to have someone to talk with because business is just exploding for them. So again, reach out to me through Jeff Altman at thebiggamehunter.us. I'll get back to you. We'll figure out a time to speak, and I look forward to helping you. Hope you enjoyed this again, and have a great day. Take care.